we're developing a society because of all of these different toxins known to affect brain function. We're seeing a society that not only has a lot more people of lower IQ, but a lot fewer people of higher IQ. In other words, a dumbing down, a chemical dumbing down of society. So everyone's sort of mediocre. That leaves them dependent on government.
Mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics.
70% of the ground beef we buy at the supermarket contains something he calls pink slime. Beef trimmings that were once used only in dog food and cooking oil, now sprayed with ammonia to make them safe to eat, and then added to most ground beef as a cheaper filler.
Walmart over the past few days has removed from its stores in the Chinese city of Jinan several batches of donkey meat when it was found that it was being sold fraudulently mixed with undeclared meat from other animals.
Hey man, you'll die if you eat that shit.
The ingestion of the widely used artificial sweetener called aspartame, better known as NutraSweet or Equal, may just be responsible for what the authors say is a dramatic increase in the number of people who develop brain tumors. What most consumers don't know is that aspartame's approval was one of the most contested in FDA history. Consumers have reported more than 7,000 adverse reactions to the FDA, ranging from dizziness to headaches to seizures.
I'm talking about the synthetic sweetener aspartame. The patent for it is now online for everyone to see how it's actually made. And it's actually made from the poop of GM bacteria.
Eat shit and die.
South Korean authorities say they plan to toughen up on the smuggling of capsules said to contain flesh from dead human fetuses or infants. They're believed to be sold as stamina enhancement drugs.
Oklahoma lawmaker wants to stop Pepsi from using aborted fetuses cells in soda flavoring research.
Subway announced it's removing a controversial chemical from its bread, an additive that's found in shoe soles and yoga mats to add elasticity.
About half of the 20 samples that were collected of the high fructose corn syrup had detectable mercury at varying levels.
Eat shit, die, Henry!
Last November, concerns over excess fluoride prompted the American Dental Association to warn parents not to mix baby formula with tap water.
Fluoride in water is supposed to fight tooth decay, but could it also cause cancer? Controversial question.
Now Harvard University is actually caught up in the debate with serious allegations that an Ivy League professor may be covering up the truth.
This unidentified form of mercury was found in food products containing high fructose corn syrup.
Prescription drugs have been found in the drinking water.
Want to stop Boss get some ice cream? Häagen-Dazs.
Eat shit and die.
GMO stands for genetically modified organisms. Until the last 20 or 30 years, this is food that has never existed before in humanity. So it's made in a laboratory, and more often than not, they're inserting viruses or bacteria into these plants.
Why do they do that?
They do that because GMOs were designed to sell more chemicals.
1.7 million people are diagnosed with cancer. And on top of that, 577,000 will die of the disease.
In fact, the average person's body could be loaded with about 700 harmful chemicals, which is pretty frightening.
The Center for Disease Control and Prevention now estimates that 1 in 68 children have autism or a similar disorder. That's 30% more than previous estimates of 1 in 88.
But what many consumers may not know is that some meat has actually been treated with carbon monoxide gas in order to keep it looking fresh for weeks.
I think I'd rather eat worms and die.
This, you see, amounts to public murder on a grand scale.